Urbana Fam 103.5. Përshëndetje ndëgjues Urbana Fam 103.5. Unë jam Likana dhe jemi me podcastin Menime Përnime. Sot me mua është Qazim Gashi, I cili ka jetuar dhe jeton me raste në Gjermani, po për shkak që nuk është aq I mirë me shqip, edhe për me mujt me nxjerr më shumë prej bisedës me ty, kena me bo podcastin gjuhën angleze. Kështu që hello Qazim and welcome.
Përshëndetje.
Përshëndetje.
Come mënu pak më full shqip.
Okay, however
when
you
it's
feel.
getting too tricky, I will switch to English.
Okay, I will ask you stuff in English, and even if sometimes I feel like asking to them in Albanian, I'll go ahead in Albanian. Okay, so usually how I start the podcast is by asking the guest to kind of give an explanation of what or who they are, because I would not like to box you with those keywords of photographer, dancer, and I would just like to give you the room to do so yourself.
Who am I? I mean, we mostly, of course, identify ourselves with what we are doing, so
Yes.
you can feel free to put me in a box of the photographer.
I can feel free to do that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I do dance. I dance my whole life. This is kind of my first identity, if I can say. Like, so I started dancing, and so I see myself for sure, a dancer, performance artist, photographer.
Okay.
Since I'm in Kosovo, I became a social worker.
Well, it kind of gets to you. Yeah, it invites that.
So you can really connect these points together. They are not too much different, I would say so. And this is me. But I'm for sure switching, and I'm trying to add more identities to it.
Yeah. So you're not someone who kind of has this repulsion towards being boxed into a certain thing.
I don't have a big problem with it, because anyway, like it gives you a little bit. It's not really putting people in a box. It's mostly having a little guideline to know which direction you are going, I would say so. It's kind of a orientation point, I would say so, because that's why this is how I take it mostly. It's not really limiting me with a description of a photographer or a performance artist or whatever, and so it's just I would say orientation, which can tell a lot.
Yeah, I guess maybe you are lucky in the sense because you've always done what you wanted to do, and maybe people sometimes work jobs that are not their true calling, so they work in a bank, but they're also great painters, and so when I'm a banker, and then it kind of has this dissonance between who you are and what you do, and that kind of creates tension, and then brings this thought that I always have with how we're very eager to define and box and isolate things just so that we can consume them more easily. But I guess since that you have this comfort in doing what you do and or have this confidence in knowing who you even are, which is great. I congratulate you for knowing who you are.
Thank you so much.
It's quite a big thing.
It took me a while to find out, but it will change every year for sure.
Yeah,
I have to find myself every year again.
The year is ending, so get ready to
I'm
explore.
already changing.
So you said that you started dance first. You danced your whole life. So how did that begin?
That was a really funny story actually. I started dancing, I breakdance to be a little bit more specific. I know for sure when I saw the first time breakdance was in the TV and somebody was spinning on his head, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like how does this work? How, like, it was for me really a magic trick. It was really magic, and I didn't saw the dance, I just saw somebody's doing magic, which is seems to be unnatural even. And then later on, like my older brother actually started with breakdance, and he said, I will bring my little brother, and he told me, you have to learn breakdance because this is how you're gonna be cool and you will get all the girls and blah blah blah. That was
famous.
Really, that was back in the days. That was the mindset and blah blah. And
Get all the girls.
Yeah, for with 9 years old, you didn't had so much interest in girls, I would say so. But I really wanted to learn breakdance, so he took me there, and I was directly brainwashed by what I saw, and I met friends which are still my friends there, and they're still dancing, and on a high level even. And that was the little introduction to the dance world. Yeah.
It's interesting because, as you said, it's magic. In a way, hip-hop dance was also very present here in Pristina. Everybody was doing breakdance at some point. And I usually, when everybody does something, I kind of feel like, oh, well, what is the other thing we should explore? Because everybody was doing it. But actually seeing it and watching breakdance performances is just really, as you said, magic. Because the way that you use your body and the way that you kind of, it's all beat related, I would say. So it's not that much melody maybe. It's like the beat guides the whole thing.
Depends. I mean, mostly, of course, but we try to be a little bit out of beat for sure, and like just to not focusing too much on the music, because it's what is happening when there's no music. Like, so do you still can dance? And for us was as well a little bit important. I mean, I'm already talking about us, but for me it was important to have your own rhythm, you have your own
internal
your own music in your head, so it can be out of the beat as well. So it's not really strict. This is what I love actually in breakdance. There's no strict rules, so it's really
fluid.
It's completely it's subculture, it's hip-hop, it's one of the elements of hip-hop, and it just got created on the streets, you know. And so how breakdance worked out was like taking elements from everywhere and mixing it up and doing in your own style, which was phenomenal. And so maybe this was as well one of the things which I got attracted to breakdance, which there was no rules, so you can do whatever.
No academia training, no going to this teacher, to that teacher. I mean, ballet, for example, is very strict, and if you're gonna go through that journey, it's you have to prepare yourself mentally, emotionally, physically, and it's quite a dedication. But I guess breakdance gives more room to be free, even if you. I mean, of course, you need to have that physical build and physical.
Not even.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, you're because. People think always breakdance is really athletic. It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to.
I see lots of stretch abilities.
Yes,
like
for sure, but it
arms.
doesn't have to. Like, I mean, what I really like as well, you can adapt to your body, how your body is, and so you don't have to be the most crazy athlete in the world to do dance. So you would just have to find your style and how does it work? You just have to reflect on yourself. What kind of character am I? Am I more aggressive? Am I more calm? Am I more lovely, wobbly, or whatever? So you just adapt your character into the movements, and so it's not really who's jumping higher or who spins more. So it can be everything.
Interesting.
That's the goal.
I guess it's kind of like a medium to also understand who you are or what you are, in a way that you use your body to inform who you are, rather than just thinking about who you are. So you kind of use even your entire being to kind of express what your words maybe fail to express.
Completely. I mean, the ground idea of back in the days when breakdance started in Brooklyn, New York, was more the idea how we can deal with our aggression, how emotions, and this is of course expression. Exactly, you channel, and this is how you do it in your way then, and so that's why they call it as well battle. So they've really found a peaceful way of solving stressful situation.
Perfect. I mean,
completely.
Actually, it works. Even when I'm feeling angry, I just dance aggressively in my room.
Absolutely,
and it really helps to channel things, because if you just keep them in, then it's a bit claustrophobic, and you act out in moments you're not supposed to. And so, definitely completely. A nice channel.
I can really recommend everybody, especially in wintertime, wake up, put the music full volume and dance for 5 or 10 minutes, you don't need a coffee then.
Very true, actually. I mean, if I wake up before 8 a.m., it's a bit tricky to get in the mood to do it.
Yeah.
But then, it's a bit like, okay, good morning, boom. But then it's like if it's after 8, I can absolutely recommend incorporate movement in my daily routine.
Yeah, for me it's always like it depends with who I'm living, because the music volume can be sometimes too much for the people as well.
And it also helps kind of check the mood that you're in. For example, are you feeling aggressive or are you feeling more like mellow, slow movement? And it all depends, and it kind of is a reflection on how I'm feeling today, how I woke up today, to know what kind of movement my body wants me to do during the day. And it's a really nice journal in a way, because you kind of like meet yourself while you're moving, and it's an interesting reflection.
Completely.
I would say so. Yeah.
Oh, completely.
You're saying you said us. For us. When did you become us? And who is us?
Like I told you, I have many identities. No, I'm just trying.
So us is me and the other.
No, we have a collective, performance collective. We met through the breakdance scene, and it's called Tijdvremia. We have members from Japan, from Ukraine, from Russia, from France, from Germany, from Kosovo. Hey. And maybe I missed one country, but it's fine.
They understand.
Yeah, we are like members around like 35 till 40 people, and since I think 2014 or even earlier, 2013, we know each other, and this is how we start. First, of course, getting to know each other and blah blah blah, and we kind of came together because we kind of had all the similar style or lifestyle even, or same visions, and trying to put new flavors into the scene and breaking some rules, and because every scene at one point get a little bit more stricter, and this is where then you have to again break things and like just to say, no, let's not get too strict, let's keep it open, and let's evolve, and let's just move on as well. And our collective are doing theater pieces, exhibitions. We have filmmakers, we have photographers, so we are really diverse in the field of art, I would say so. And let's see what we're gonna do. Till now we have this what's the name here, project which is called People Doing Moves, which we are working since 7-8 years also on it, where we try to work with regular people as well. And since you talked about the physique for a second, we try to the idea of your body is good as it is already, and make use of it. And if you think your body is a little bit awkward, play with this awkwardness, make it to your power as well, and like understand the mechanics first of all of your body, and find new ways of moving. We sometimes give some easy tasks how you would move from A to B. You're usually gonna walk, but we say like try to move differently, so you can roll, or you
walk
can
backwards.
Exactly, do a moonwalk or whatever. But it's so simple, but it kind of let you break some patterns what we have in the head, because we usually move every day similar, and this is a good reflection to the thoughts we have as well, because we think as well always the same way as we do, and it's really hard to think differently. As soon as you try it out, you will see how hard it is. But we saw the meeting point in the movements, so you can, through movements, you can even change the patterns of your thoughts, and it was kind of amazing to see it on yourself.
Beautiful,
that
actually,
it works.
beautiful. I mean, as you said, to change the pattern, to break the pattern, because it's as much as it is actually really needed to have this sense of routine in life, to make room for great things to happen. I mean, I really believe this. If you have this set of routine of consistent small things that you follow every day, be it a morning ritual, be it whatever that you do, kind of makes room for great things to visit you. But then it also, this thought also lives in paradox with, if you only do the same thing, then you're kind of too habituated with your surroundings and you're not perceptive anymore. You're not, oh wow, look at that, that's so great. It's just like you're walking, you're living your daily life, walking the same street, walking the same way, thinking the same way. And the longer the same way goes, the harder it is to break it. And once you break it, it's like, whoa, life is great. And we need to incorporate this, oh, whoa, life is great moments. Even like, well, look at what my body can do. Look at what my mind can produce. Look at what this interaction can give birth to. And it's so nice that you said this. And because
I believe as well, sorry to interrupt, you have to keep this excitement in your life. As soon as something new is happening, there's this excitement and there's this you give then again different attention to it as well, because it's really easy to get into the autopilot, and I believe this is where you start to get old.
Yeah, well, it's an interesting way because attention is used as a mechanism to put things into your mind and then make that autopilot so that it can focus in new places. But then we forget to use attention the way it's meant to be used, the way it's to pay attention to the world in different ways so that you can understand different angles of it. And I see it every year. For me, it gets harder and harder to break free from this routine. When I was younger, I was like so easily could switch off and just, well, let's take a detour and let's discover a new self. But now it's a bit, with more obligations, more adult stuff, very adulting life here. It becomes more difficult to just, say, you know what, today I will do this, because there's always this, well, I have to do this to do that, and then to do this I have to do that, and once this calculation enters, you're kind of, goodbye, you're not gonna do it.
Yeah, that's the hard thing about getting grown up.
It's so. I mean, we're all children, really. I feel we're all children with lots of obligations that kind of make us.
But I would not necessarily say these obligations are something negative. I believe we need certain kind of structure in our lives as well, certain kind of routines, just to have a little foundation to where you can build on.
Very true.
Because sometimes I'm getting too loose as well, and then I wake up and if I don't have any plans for tomorrow, for example, I just wake up. If I do it too much, of course, and I feel lost. And it takes me really the first 3-4 hours just to organize my head, because
where am I?
Exactly, because there's a lot of thoughts. This should I do this? So I believe this little structure should be there for sure. But if you feel it's not serving you anymore, you can break it. You should break it anytime, and just to recreate a new structure and new directions. But I think routines are necessary.
Very true. I used to kind of hate them or be like, oh, routine is so boring, whatever. But right now I kind of break the pattern, spill water on yourself.
Do something new.
Routine, but actually this is what I also understand about religion. The incorporation of routine, of rituals, is what gives you a foundation to build upon, as you said. And it's really beautiful to incorporate structure and fluidity to give birth to this morphing entity which continuously inspires you to grow.
Completely.
But it's also really interesting actually how we are wired in a way to seek comfort. Even if you have this repetitive thought, it's hard to break it because the routine gives you comfort. And seeking discomfort is what should be encouraged in a way.
Yeah.
Even doing a dance move you've never thought, seeing your feet from a different angle, whatever, it's discomfort. But you have to break that so that you're able to then incorporate this kind of trajectory into your life, I feel.
Completely, yeah. Yeah, this is tricky. That's the trick. There's a lot of traps, which we think it's traps. I mean, there's nothing wrong with feeling comfortable as well. But you will see this comfort zone is like you will step at one point just on one place.
And
it's really no process maybe happening, no growth. It's beautiful, but there's sometimes no growth there. So that's why I think it's a natural thing what we have in us, that we need challenges for sure. I mean, I know how. Just to take an example, I have my friend circle, and of course I feel with them really comfortable, so I hang out with them. But if we hang out too much as well, it's just nothing really happening as well. So we have sometimes to have distance to each other again, and just to meet again new people, and just to have a little bit more input from other people. And
this pattern also reflects itself even in creating and everything in life, actually, even in love, in relationships, in friendships, in your relationship to your work. And I think we see this pattern much more pronounced or enhanced in doing art, because actually the way I feel, it's the way that great ideas visit you is exactly when you break the pattern. But they can only come if you have this routine, if you have this ritual where you are really strict with your work, but at the same time you make room for play, for detouring. And how do you navigate when you're not really inspired, or when you're kind of bored and nothing in a way moves you? Do you ever have those moments?
That's a nice point, because you mentioned now boring. I believe that being bored, it's a huge aspect to creativity, because I believe it push you to get creative, like to be bored. So to be bored is really important. And but we should say goodbye to this idea of this genius who isolate herself or himself somewhere and like having the best ideas. I believe the best ideas is in the interactions with everything. But to put this one out, this is where you need a little bit then silent, and maybe to get bored again, just to push you to do the stuff again. And I believe being bored and creativity goes really well hand in hand. And I see it as well, like I mean, just an example, if you would do your tea like every day in the same way, you would get probably bored of it, and maybe you will think about like, how can I do
some milk?
Yes. Or let's whatever. So you will switch it up to something. And it's a kind of what I see on myself as well, that as soon as I'm getting bored, I'm going to my laptop and I'm like, what can I do? And that's why we should embrace actually the boringness and get bored, guys.
But the problem with today's society, or the way of living today, is we make no room for boredom. Everything is designed to entertain you, to make you, lift you out of your misery of being bored. Because why you're bored? Look Instagram, look TikTok, look, you know, and it kind of takes room. And I feel very claustrophobic at times when I'm like, literally, I have no time to just sit with my thoughts and hear them breathe in a way, because there's always this do this, do that, boom, 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 and there's no digestion for the mind. And I think like even waiting for something is perfect. I love waiting. I love being in between situations, you know, because you digest. And even being bored is the same thing. You're like digesting life and being more inspired.
Completely. And we need this calm times for sure. And I don't know, I just starting, of course, to get to know myself better and better. And I just see that as everything, I have seasons. And that's really important to know as well, that we as a human being have seasons too. Like, so there's time for settling down, there's time for creating, having ideas, not necessarily already in action. But then through these ideas, then the action is happening. Then after this action comes the reflection, and then maybe again the settling down, and then again this period of having new ideas. So I believe we should go with seasons and find your own seasons. Doesn't mean you have to go now with the seasons.
Yeah, it's winter, so let's not.
Exactly, which is actually maybe even a nice idea, because why not? Wintertime, you're anyway a lot inside, so you can. It's a perfect time to get bored, and springtime, it's a perfect time to you're like blooming, and you're like, okay, let's do this, blah blah.
Summertime is just complete chaos, but it's okay.
Exactly, this is the action time, I would say. So where it's okay to lose yourself as well, because this is that's summer. Go for it, like go fully in, and but just be careful. You just need then the season after to slow down again. So stick then to the seasons.
Very
and.
True.
It can be helpful. I see it more and more at myself, that I'm going more with the seasons and saying goodbye to this idea of
a fixed construct.
I have to do the whole time something, like non-stop. I have to do something. There's no need. So take your time.
I guess it takes to really know yourself to be able to embrace this so perfectly or fully. I also relate with what you're saying. I mean, when you are younger and you're like finishing university or whatever, you have this urge to do this, do that, finish this, finish that, to prove it to yourself that, or to others that, hey, look at me, I can do this. But then it just, why are you doing this? Why? For what reason? I mean, you have a talent, great. You have a passion, great. Then follow it according to its rhythm. If you push it too hard, you're not being loyal to the passion. You're diverting it, and it's ego situation then happening. So
completely.
If you just let go but it takes practice to be simple, actually, I would say.
Totally, and it takes time for sure as well. And but take your time. The time will anyway pass, so do whatever you can do there. And I forgot, I wanted to say something, but I forgot.
Yeah, this is a tricky part. Should we recall what we said so that it kind of activates what you were thinking about?
Yes, please.
So we were talking about what we were talking about? We were talking about routine. No, we were not. We were talking about routine way earlier.
Yeah.
It was something about. Oh, now I lost it too.
It's okay. We can start it here.
I lost it too.
This is perfect because we can just.
Wait! In the middle of a completely. Oh wait. Yeah. So then, tell me, how did you slowly find yourself in the visual medium?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still the generation who used MySpace. Maybe you heard about it.
I have heard about it. I did not use it.
This is the first Facebook from back in the days, where you could. It was an amazing platform actually, because you could design your own profile. You could put music on it, special background, and of course your pictures. This was the first experience for
the self.
Exactly, you're presenting yourself to the public, and of course you want to look good.
You gotta know who you are.
And this is kind of where you slowly understand the language of pictures and how to inscenate stuff, and it was mostly as well dance related, because of course we wanted to show our dance moves and showing how cool we are and stuff. And then slowly you do then your selfies, your going more up, then your face is the in the spotlight, and then you know how to photograph which side is your best side, the hairs and style and blah blah. And I would say that was kind of the beginning, the self-learning visual world which I entered, and from there it started actually, that people then starting to write me and say, hey, cool pictures, can you do some of me? And I was like, oh, cool, yeah, why not?
So you kind of accidentally discovered this passion.
I had really, my first camera was like this digi cams, like this, but I was so good in Photoshop that everybody thought I have the craziest camera.
Where did you get this camera, Qazim?
Yeah, exactly.
Please.
Then I came with my little camera. But of course it took me really hours, and I spent back into this because it was so new, Photoshop, and it was like a game, you know. So I was kind of a gamer but just in a Photoshop world.
It actually, yeah,
and
it has
so I was
that mindset.
hours and like really little stuff, and I was just like so impressed that you can create your own world in a picture as well. And I started to manipulate a lot of photos, and yeah, it was phenomenal. It catched me as dance catched me actually as well. It was just
it's interesting that it came accidentally to you. So when you think of yourself back then, or when you were even a child, did you have a relationship with this detached perception? Because I think I also like to take photos. I don't consider myself a photographer or whatever, but I really love to perceive life. And sometimes, I mean, there are different mediums that you get in yourself to understand and even experience life, but taking photos or videos for me is this alternative route to understand things I cannot grasp consciously. So I always had this. I always was like very bored or very sad as a child or very lonely or whatever, and I always look at things, and the way that I would look at them helped me understand more about my emotional state. So did you ever have a relationship with photography as a child, or it just accidentally inserted itself?
I believe that my father played a big role in this. He was since 87 till, I don't know, like 2000 something, he was non-stop with his old cameras, VHS. He was non-stop recording us as a family. And I believe that was as well an influence which played a role, and he sometimes give me then this huge camera, and I was already always falling because it was too huge for me, and but he wanted to record everything, and he still don't know it, but I always tell him, you are actually an artist too. And he's like, yeah, whatever.
Whatever, great job, thank you very much.
Because he really recorded us in a really funny situations, because like when you cry or when you're like really sad or whatever, he was like, I always wanted to capture emotions as well. And so I was like, he was just recording into the face, and you can sometimes hear my mother, Mom, muss er nicht gesagt haben, Mom.
Lovely.
Yeah, but he wanted just that
to
later
capture.
on you can see your emotions, what you had back in the days.
This is perfect. I love
and I
it
was
so
like
much.
saying to you, hey, you are an artist, and you influenced me actually, and he don't believe it so much, but it is, I guess so. Yeah.
I guess everybody is an artist in their own way. Some tap into it, some kind of tap but don't admit it, some fully on go with that journey, which kind of hurts, but it's also part of life.
Yeah, so cameras was always familiar to me for sure. And so, yeah.
So now you consider yourself a photographer? Huh?
Yeah, today I would say I'm what I am today. Yeah, today I'm photographer. Because I switch every day, you know. I like to Mondays I'm mostly the photographer.
Perfect.
Today, what is today? Thursday,
Today
right?
Is Thursday. Today we're gonna write a script.
Yeah, today I'm just a random person.
Today I don't know. Today I'm not a photographer.
Yeah, true. I'm today a creative director.
Yeah, today you're a creative director. So let's put that hat on today, shall we? When are you inspired the most?
When I'm inspired the most, I think when I have a lot of fun.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's always this myth of artists
being miserable.
Exactly. Then this is where they put the best works out. But I believe if you're depressed or whatever, like you can express it through your art, but I think you still have to pass it to a certain kind of point that you can express it, because this depression stuff can make you numb and not you can get stiff. You
not respond to life.
So I believe when I'm the most inspired, when I'm really in balance with myself, and like I can just enjoy everything, and sometimes it's just even sitting on the grass. Can be super inspiring.
Very true.
But it's just a matter of how healthy I am physically and mentally. So I believe this is really important to get inspiration and to be creative as well.
So you started to photograph, and then when did you kind of understand what you're looking for as a photographer. What is your visual language? What captures you for you to be able then to capture that? You know, what themes are present in your work, and what drives you towards, you know, taking a photo of something or someone, or how did you understand what it is you want to photograph?
It took me a while. I mean, I still sometimes don't know what I want or where my photography is going. Especially in my 20s, like you do everything, and sometimes you follow as well unconsciously some trends and stuff.
I'm an unconscious trend follower.
It's so true that you get influenced.
I don't follow trends, just unconsciously sometimes.
Oops, I'm super in the trend.
Oh my god, I'm like all TikTok dressed inspired.
And I had some friends which were always ahead of me in photography.
Okay.
And they gave me always pressure. I was like, why they are so good? And so sometimes you just imitate certain kind of styles from photographers which you watch and blah blah.
Yeah.
But it was more it was especially more aesthetic based. Everything.
Yeah.
It was it was everything about being beautiful. Beautiful. And later on, of course, you since, like I say, since I'm in Kosovo, I became kind of a social worker, and I see there's a lot of themes which you can give a platform to. So you discover photography from all kinds of sides. In the beginning, it's really this just playing around, and then of course you want to get a little bit attention, then you focus on beautiful things, you try to have the most aesthetic ones, but you don't really necessarily ask yourself why I'm doing this, you just do it. But then at one point, like, people are asking why you are doing this, and you don't have any answer. You're like, just, it's beautiful, so what?
Why not?
Which is not, can be as well, but then you just see like how deep you can go with photography actually, and you can just tell stories of people, you can everything actually, and documenting or recreating, or I don't know. I still believe that I will more discover in the photography world, but at the moment I was always more into people, photographing people, and just to see who they are, and I think the perspective behind the camera gives you a really nice possibility to look a little bit deeper into the people as well, and it gives you a privileged position to get to know people
kind of
much
like
better.
A microscope, an emotional microscope in a way. Yeah.
And what I love in photography, you can meet people. It's amazing. I can just write people, hey, are you up for photo shooting? And then you have a nice day and can get to know people as well. And so it doesn't have to be always this end result of a product whatever. Yeah. So I really use it as well to get to know new people and just to have fun day and whatever. So it can get used in so many different ways, photography.
I like
and I'm switching as well always.
Between what kind of captivates you.
Exactly. At the moment, of course, I'm doing this, but I'm since 2019 doing this Pink Bliss, what I will always continue, and I will always getting into a new direction. And
I like that you're touching upon the importance of the process, not always the end result, because actually making art and creating takes place in the process as you're doing it. And once you have a product out, then it's, creativity leaves you in a way. I mean, you kind of, okay, it's finished, so it's done. And we usually, maybe I understand, but to a fault associate art with products. And it's much more in between, and the undefinable moments, and meeting people, having a photo shoot or not, or trying, or maybe not even. And that's what really inspires me. And I like that you touched upon this. And I also like that you said the pressure of the people to like, you had this, and then you kept experimenting, and then trying, and then maybe even copying some styles. And it's really important to copy in the beginning, I believe, to give you a foundation of what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and then you find yourself.
Completely.
So, yeah.
I believe as well. Anyway, everything is kind of a copy of everything. It's just sometimes.
It's a unique copy. Sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. You just put then another piece from there, and of course, then it's completely different. But it's then a little copy from there and there, and which is okay. I mean, where does ideas anyway come? What is the creative process?
Very true.
And it's sometimes they talk about this flow state where you don't even have the feeling that you are doing something, and it's just coming. And do you really have to get the credit for this? You know, it's the question as well. When it's just coming and you just don't know even where it's coming.
You're just like an open channel. Like, okay,
exactly,
you get the credit for being an open channel.
Exactly.
So, you know, like, I'm not a genius, but I'm so open.
Don't forget to tag me.
Don't forget to tag me. Like, reference me, please, because I was the first this idea came to. Yeah, but I guess we're really unconsciously inspired by so many things. Unconsciously, everything enters us. And it is no wonder, you know, we will have even the same ideas, you know, and it's time for certain ideas to be present. And it's just really beautiful to, as you said, not see things as original or as the artist who came up with this awesome work. It's the work is awesome, yes, because they were able to connect pieces for what everybody else did in a unique way, but it's still not original. It's not like they went to a distant star and took some element and look, now we did this. It's all part of this recycled emotional, spiritual, physical energy, I feel.
Yeah, completely. I feel like this sometimes as well. I feel as well, like you say, I'm receiving sometimes.
Yeah.
It just comes out, and it's not that I can control this kind of stuff and say, okay, now it's time for creativity. So that's why I think you really have to be a little bit aware of yourself and just to understand when it's time for what, and then use these times and just go fully in and like, yeah.
When let's come back to Kosovo. And when did you when did you decide to come back, and why, and how are you feeling living here?
I decided 2019 to come back. I never been here actually. I was the typical diaspora who just came for vacation for 1 month. So I was like my whole life, every summer here with my family, and but at the same time you didn't know what is Kosovo. It's really funny. So
isolated perception.
Completely. For me, it was Kosovo a vacation place, to be honest.
Let's go to the seaside in Kosovo. Yeah. Batlava or stuff.
Exactly.
Why not?
But really, for me, it was an adventure because it's like so different to Germany. It was so chaotic. It was loud. It was the energy of the people. I really enjoy it, and it's just something which attracts me a lot for sure. And but to go back, why I came back, I just needed anyway a change. I think I got bored. I got really bored, to be honest, and I didn't felt satisfied with my stuff because I just came too much in my routines. And I just did the same, and sometimes not doing anything even because you are just feeling something is not right in place, and then you just don't do anything. And I was like, hey, come on, let's go 3 months to Kosovo. I will check out what's going on there. And 4 years later, I was still here. And then I started to meet all the people in Pristina, and I was blown away. I met a lot of so nice people, and this is what at the end kept me here for sure. And I got a lot of inspiration here, and I learned a lot of stuff, and I did a lot of new stuff which was really necessary for me as well. And like I say, I became kind of a social worker. I really loved the activism of the people, and especially when most of them are so young. When I came, everybody was like in the beginning of 20s. I was like, what the fuck, you are like such a crazy activist and you are in the beginning of 20s. And just, it really inspired me, this energy. And like just we want to change things and we want to do things differently. It was just the vibe
lots of
which I needed
building,
for sure. And yeah, I loved it. And of course, then I start day by day understanding much more what it means actually to live here, and what is the whole spectrum of Kosovo, and yeah, it was nice to get out of my bubble.
That's really nice. But now I guess you're in a bubble again, so you want to leave again?
Yeah, I have always to leave.
Always getting bored, I have to run away.
Yeah, that's my natural nomad instincts.
That's really nice.
Yeah, but I will visit parents, because this is as well an obligation.
I thought you said I'm going to visit Paris because it's an obligation.
Yeah, my parents in Paris.
Parents in Paris. Parents in Paris.
Parents in Paris. No, they are not in Paris, but in Germany. And yeah, just Christmas, New Year's.
Okay.
New Year's, for parents is really important. And to say goodbye to the old year and to say hello to the new year.
The new self.
And exactly. And then I will be a little bit in Berlin. And yeah, let's see. I really don't have too much fixed plans, but I think always I have a little bit to change places and just to do again something else to refresh every disciplines which I have and like just
break things and build new things.
Exactly,
self and around. Yeah. Well, it's really nice to have you here in Pristina in Kosovo.
Thank you.
And it was really nice to meet you and know that you exist. It was a really nice experience when I became aware of your existence. It was really nice. And thank you for coming here today. And also, it has been a pleasure even working with you and hanging out with you and all of that. And I hope you had fun in this
for sure
podcast.
Thank you as well for inviting me. Thanks for having me. I really enjoy you as well. We know now like 2 years, something like that.
2 or 3, yeah.
But we really got to know each other this year, I would say.
Very true. Yeah, we worked.
Exactly. And I believe you can meet the people the best through work together. Like, I believe so. I mean, there's of course other options, but this is where I can feel this connection is quite
more profound.
Yeah, for sure. And
especially through creative work. It's
completely.
Really.
I mean, just by spending time, you can see all kinds of moods, and so you just see the pure person for sure, which is nice.
And we also worked in extreme conditions, so we were like,
that's right. That's
we
really
know each other. We shared the
completely. We have to suffer together and enjoy together. As well.
And then we know each other. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you too.
Hope you had fun.
So give it up to Urban FM.
Faleminderit shumë që keni ndëgju, podcasti kanë gjuhën angleze, po shpresoj që për ata që keni mujt me kuptu ka qenë diçka që e keni shiju. Këtë podcast mundeni me pa edhe në platforma tjera të Urbanit. Faleminderit shumë për vëmendjen. Tong tong.
Tong tong.
Tong tong.